Okay, let's put that there in place. And let's make sure that everyone's got the link so they can see the show. There we go. Make sure everyone can see the show. You can't say that I did send them the link or anything else like that.
That's right.
Come on, come on, come on, come on. Right, we're good. I can close off my Facebook page now. And we are good to go. Ah, Bobby. Okay. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. My name is Ingram Jones, and I have with me a very good friend, Bobby Gunn. Bobby, how are you?
I'm doing good, Ingram. Thanks for having me on, my pal.
Okay, good. Before we start, I'd like you just to introduce yourself, Bobby, while I just quickly continue to... People are coming into the room.
My name is Bobby Gunn. I'm a gypsy traveler boy. I'm over here in America. I'm a former cruiserweight champion. I fought for the world title 4 times, and I'm the bare-knuckle world heavyweight champion, linear champion right now, recognized by the National Police Gazette magazine in the Bare-Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame, the only champion, and we're taking this sport mainstream.
Bobby, let's talk a little bit about your boxing career. We won't touch it. We won't go on it too much. Just give us a little talk about what you've done in your career as a boxer, as a professional boxer.
I had a great run. You know, I had 30 professional fights. I fought the top fighters of the world. I had Enzo Maccarelli, Thomas Adamek, James Toney, Glenn Johnson. Had a great run. You know, I fought the greats and legends. And to be honest with you, I won a world title in 2006, and I lost to Maccarelli. And then I fought Thomas Adamek for the Ring magazine title, 2009, and I lost. But you know, I'll be honest with you, not taking nothing away from them, I lost on my feet. You know, and if that was in a street fight, a bare-knuckle fight, it'd be a wee bit different. But because of politics and judges and rules, you got to go along with those, and it happens. But you listen, I had a great run, had a great career, got to see the whole world, and you know, again, like I always say, I'm in the record books. I'm not on Facebook. You know what I mean? And I'm here for a reason. I don't have no regrets. I've become great friends with the guys. I said Baxter, Enzo Maccarelli's a great mate of mine. I love him. I'm still feeling his right hand on my head, and I fought some great guys, and I have no regrets.
Okay, Bobby, I'm going to do this. Got to give a little shout out to the Wards, the Ward family, Michael Ward. You saw their cousins early on talking, so it's really great to talk about the community of Tubbercurry, which I live in Ireland. A lot of Irish boxers, a lot of travelling Irish boxers as well. So let's talk a little bit about the travelling community for a second. Give them a shout out.
You know, I'd like to say hello to all the wee traveler boys right now boxing. Right now, there's more young traveler boys fighting than any time in our life, and you got a lot of young fighters. Like my pal Asgar's got a little prospect. Tommy Lee Buckley, he's doing real good. He's 8 or 9 years old. He's a good little boy. Right now, you got good fighters in boxing, top professional fighters. You know, like Jake Ball, the light heavyweight, is going to be a superstar right now. Andy Lee, the former world middleweight champion. Billy Joe Sanders, the current world middleweight champion. Huey Fury, the heavyweight sensation, and none other than Tyson Fury, the world heavyweight champion. But if you look for a second, if I could say something for a minute.
Go ahead.
All these traveler boys are here today, but there was a foundation where you understand how they got here from the travelers of the past and the greats.
Right.
You look at the Fighting Hilton family from Montreal, Canada, Uncle Davey Hilton's boys, Davey and Matthew Hilton, boxing royalty in Canada, world champions, greats. Uncle Davey Hilton Sr. fought 3 world champions and had Terry Spinks knocked out and got disqualified for roughing him up. It's unheard of. Johnny Sokol, the great welterweight champion. Gypsy Johnny Frankham, who, young Charles Frankham, all his grandfather. Charles Frankham is an amateur sensation right now. All the Frankham boys. Gypsy Johnny Frankham was a great fighter. We all had these people. Bartley Gorman, the king of the gypsies, you know what I mean? Uncle Ted Daly in America here, the fighting Irishman over here. We had these great fighters for our community to look up to and want to be better and go like them. And right now, the traveler community, Scottish, Irish, or English travelers, or Wales travelers, they're on fire in boxing. And I've never been so more happier to see all the wee boys doing so good. I'm really proud of them right now.
I know that it's well documented that travelers get a bit of a hard time in the community of boxing. Let's talk about your own personal experiences as a traveler and a fighter. Talk to us about that.
I've seen some terrible, hatred, racist things said and done. In my boxing career, I've been involved in fights, in world championship fights, and I've seen the referee jump in and stop a fight and whisper in my ear, "Go back to America, you gypsy bastard," in front of 50,000 people. And I don't want to mention names, I'm just telling you, I think you kind of know what fights these are. And
yeah,
I've been involved in things, I've seen horrible things. But here's the bottom line. It's an old saying, what doesn't kill us makes us stronger. And our breed of people is like coffin nails. You're not going to beat us. We're harder than coffin nails. We're strong, bred people, like a pit bulldog, bred for fighting. And unfortunately, there is hatred in the world. It exists. It's terrible. Don't think it isn't. And I would say my own self personally, the gypsy traveler culture people are persecuted as just as much as the African American community is. And it's very bad to say that because I my own self, my brother, I have seen restaurants in America go in with my family. We don't want to serve your people here, they'll say. What do you mean my people? I'm sorry, we don't want to serve you here. Now think about that. 2016. It happens today.
Well, because it's a minority ruling it for a majority. So you get a few idiots. Well, it doesn't have to be travellers. We've got idiots in every society.
Yes.
And it's a few idiots, that tar the way for other people who are good travellers. I mean, I've got many traveller friends, and I get close to calling family, and I've met idiots outside the travelling community. Do you understand? So I think it's not about people, it's about character, or a cast of people. It's character. If you're a good person, you're a good person. And if you're not a good person, you're not a good person. It's as simple as that. It's not got to be 100% traveller.
100%, but here's the flip side to that coin. Here's what's scary for me, looking into it, for myself, for my son, or seeing the other young traveler boys boxing. Right. Them idiots that you just said, right? Yeah. What if one of those idiots are the judges, are the referees at one of the wee traveler boys fights? Mm-hmm. Are they gonna be neutral? Are they gonna pass opinion and judgment from the hatred in their heart that is poison towards people that they don't even know? You can't persecute a race of people for a few bad apples. We're not all that way. Yes, there's good and bad in all race of people all over the world. But saying that, people that have that hatred in their heart, I don't believe in God, they might say, well, you know something? For we all will have to stand before Him. You can believe or not believe Him. In my house, I choose to serve the Lord. I love the Lord with all my heart. But if you don't have forgiveness or love in your heart, you're a bad person. Unfortunately, these bad people are involved in the sports world. They're involved in judging, refereeing, politics. God, He keeps our friends safe from them.
Indeed. Can you still hear me? You still there?
I got you.
I think your volume's gone. I can't seem to hear you. Your volume's going.
No, how about now? You hear me now? I was going in and out. How about now?
You're cool. Right. Also, let's talk about BKB. Let's talk about the differences between BKB, boxing, and this sort which we talked about, bare-knuckle boxing in the streets. Let's talk about those three things. You've been a professional boxer. You're doing the BKB professionally. So tell me the difference between the BKB, professional boxing, or professional bare knuckle boxing and street boxing, as they say. Street.
Okay, well, I'll be honest. Okay, bare knuckle boxing, where I come up from, the underground circuit in the streets, established rules. You know, boxing like, you know, with proper rules, not rough and tumble. Rough and tumble means anything goes. And there's no ear biting, you understand, or eye gouging. And when you're doing bare knuckle boxing, you're standing up giving proper rules. And that's the difference. It's a gentleman's sport. Bare knuckle boxing is not gloves. Your hands are all wrapped 1 inch thick in a boxing glove where you can punch as hard as you can. With bare knuckle boxing, you have to pick your shots more clearly or you'll break your hand. So it's more of a slower pace. It's what I call a chess player compared to checker player boxing. So bare knuckle boxing is a whole different art form of fighting. It's boxing, but it's a little bit different. You take your time, going to the body more, slipping, trying to catch and hear the jaw. You don't want to hit above the forehead, you'll shatter your hand. So every shot you throw, it's very important.
I know I did this. I talked to you about this before, and talked about maybe the traveling community getting more involved in the BKB and in a professional sense. What are you doing in your position at BKB to ensure that happens?
Well, again, I'm the world recognized bare knuckle heavyweight champion, and established. And we are the world bare knuckle boxing professional boxing organization. We're not just like a little group like in Canada or America or England or Ireland. We have all race of people, all different cultures involved in our team. I have a great team, and what we're doing, we're establishing. We have professional. We're going to be putting in the month of June, probably June the 18th in Florida. Within the next week, we'll have the session where we will announce to the world professional boxing event. And this here is a gateway for all these young traveler boys, gypsy boys that come on board. If they're good, if they can compete, and give them a life where they can perform and compete at. Not just the traveler gypsy boys, but all cultures of people, all races of people that do it professional, not underground and street fighting, because that only gets you so far. If it doesn't make money, it don't make sense, and everybody wants to be paid.
Bobby, I've just got something come through on my Facebook page. They keep asking me, but we'll do it again anyway. He says, can you give Michael Ward and Sonny Ward a shout-out from Tubbercurry in Ireland?
Well, you've already said their names, Michael, Sonny. Best of luck to you boys, and God bless you. I wish you the best. Honest to God, I do.
Okay, great. So we've done that. So let's get back on point. You said to me in an interview previously that bare knuckle boxing is safer than boxing, and a lot of people, when I tell them that story, they say to me, "Nah, that can't be true." Explain why bare knuckle boxing is actually safer than boxing.
Again, if you look at your hand, your fist, and if I put a 1 inch hand wrap on there with foam underneath it, and put a professional bare boxing glove on there, you're going to get hit, but your brain's going to get rattled. Now take that away. I'm not hitting as hard as I do with the wraps on and the gloves. You might get some superficial cuts, but top neurosurgeons, doctors in the world have said that professional boxing is more dangerous than bare knuckle boxing, because in bare knuckle boxing you're not getting the blows or repeated blows to the head to jar your brain, where you might get a cut eye or a really bloody nose. That's the truth. They're not Bobby Gunn, but from top surgeons in the world. And that's why and for a fact, I'm talking pretty good for all the fights I've had, so I'm proof too, right?
Right, that's good. I mean, let's go further into this. I know that there's a lot of BKB boxing around the world. How can you tell the difference between that which is legitimate and that which is fragmented and people doing their own things in the corner? How do you tell the difference for somebody who wants to come in and get involved in BKB the legitimate way?
Well, all I can say again, we're doing a professional bare-knuckle boxing show in June in Florida. It'll be a huge facility, pay-per-view, an environment just like a professional boxing environment. It'll be that's legitimate, like we did August the 5th, 2011. I myself, when I won the vacant bare-knuckle world title, there was none of these groups around. They didn't even exist. We were the first to do it, and we did it the right way, and we took our time, and I did it the right way. I've been on Showtime, 60 Minute Sports, Rolling Stone magazine, Men's Journal magazine right now. I want to give a shout out, thank them. I want to thank Staten Boner, the top editor in the world, writer in the world, who works for them companies. He's the top writer in the world. These are investigative journalists. Now think about it. They wouldn't be writing about me or my business if it wasn't true. So all I can say is there is other groups. I would say they're hand wrapper groups, rappers, because they wear hand wraps in the fighters. I don't count the knuckles. The knuckles have to be bare. If the knuckles are not bare, how can you say that's bare knuckle boxing? That's all I'm saying to you. If you want to wrap it up, call it what it is. It's maybe a back road. You want to go and settle a feud, wrap your hands up. But bare knuckle boxing, to be paid professionally, you have to compete bare fist fighting. And it ain't me to say that. These are the top people involved in the business. So that's why we're different. I would say some other groups. There's some other groups out there that want to sit down. Like I have people tell me to sit and run me down and talk bad about me all the time, and all these so-called self-proclaimed fighters. Well, I'm a good guy, and I give my heart out to anybody. But if you want to talk bad about me and say I don't fight this guy or fight this guy or fought nobody, how hard is it for you to get on the plane and come over and get me? Instead of talking about it, and like honestly, I'm not being mean, God forgive me. Instead of talking about it like a hateful person, you want to prove yourself, come and get me. I'm over here in America. I'm not hard to find. Any man who wants to meet me, come and get me, and I'll meet them, and I'll show them all about it, because I have no problems with my community, the Gypsy Traveler community. The only problems I'm getting is a regular community, a lot of hateful people towards my people, the Gypsy Travelers. And I've been experiencing a lot of that. And to be honest with you, what really makes me sick in my stomach, 80% of that is from the UK.
Really?
Really. And you think that they would have involved, and stopped miscalling someone and being so hateful to travelers. When me and Tyson Fury had a good talk when he was over here in America, we had a good talk. We talked about certain things. And that boy, think about it. The red carpet, the Queen of England should have met that boy for tea. If he was anybody else, she would have. It's because he's a traveler. They want to pretend he doesn't exist. And let me ask you a question. When he won the heavyweight championship of the world, how bad was it the IBF stripped that wee boy that title with 10 days? That's unheard of. Would they have stripped Klitschko if he would have retained that title?
No,
ask yourself that question.
Well, I don't. Absolutely not.
Okay, so why would they strip Tyson? Because he won it. Come on, let's think about that question right there. Let's just go back. If Klitschko would have beat Tyson, I know the IBF would not have stripped him, right? They would not have. They would have in their rules as though if they had it their way, they would take them boys' belts off them right now, but they can't because it's out-and-out robbery. He beat the man, and he's going to beat him again better next time. And that's a fact what I'm telling you. Tyson Fury's going to knock him out in 7 or 8 rounds. Now, it's just hateful things. What's happened to Tyson, I've seen it happen to me in different aspects of things. But the deal is, I'm expressing my voice. I'm not going to be silent. I'm here. I'm not going to go and take it no more. My people stay together. We will go and do great things together, and they're doing it. Look at this boy, Billy Joe Sanders. Look at Andy Lee, who might be fighting Miguel Cotto again, a rematch, or Brandon Jacobs. We're not sitting back. We're doing it. We're taking a stand. To beat us, you got to beat us. And to be the best man, you got to beat the best. And they're not beating us, my brother. We're here for a reason.
Let's talk about your involvement in boxing. You've met Mike Tyson. What was it like beating Mike Tyson?
I met Mike Tyson many, many years ago when I was a young boy. And I remember Mike Tyson. I seen him in Vegas when I was only about 16, 17 years old. He was always nice. He knowed the Hiltons very good. The boys I talked about very earlier on. Mike Tyson knows the gypsies and the traveler people very good, and he's got great respect for our culture. And he's a very nice fellow. I met him, and when it was so nice to see him and Tyson Fury meet each other, and there was magic at that moment. If you could only see that moment, the old king giving homage to the young king, and I was there to witness it. It was a great night we had.
Wow, wow. So let's go back. Let's talk a bit more about BKB. What is the difference between a boxer, a boxer and a BKB fighter? And are the preparations the same, or are they? And how do they differ?
It's the same old thing. To be honest with you, when I'm training for bare-knuckle fights, I train the same way I do boxing. Yeah. But I strengthen my hands different. I maybe punch the bag bare-knuckle to strengthen all the hands.
Yeah.
I take a bucket of white rice, cooking rice.
Yes.
I stick my hands into the rice, and I close my hands, and I open my hands to strengthen all the ligaments and muscles to protect the bone. The stronger your ligaments and your muscles are in your hands, the more shot you can absorb on your bone in case your bone fractures. Now, I broke my hands quite many times, but I have a way of, repairing them and fixing them. If I didn't do these methods, my hands would fall apart. Also, your hands can split just like your eyes can split. So what I do, I soak my hands in Epsom salt and rub in alcohol to toughen the skin so the skin doesn't split between the knuckles where you hit their tooth or something. Now, that's the different things I do for hand strengthening. But as far as bare-knuckle boxing training and boxing, it's the same old crack. You get up in the morning, do your road work, you go to the gym and train. The same methods.
I saw you did something about strengthening of the neck and being able to absorb shots. How does that help?
When I was a young boy, an old trainer called Gene T, who boxed Joe Maselli, who was number 4 in the welterweight in the world under, Kid Gavlin, Emo Griffin, the top guys in the world. He had like 50 pro fights. He said to me, if you don't learn how to roll with a shot, you're going to have a short career. I said, what do you mean? He said, you'll be punched. You walk on your heels time you're 21 years old. The old pros, watch how they roll. Watch Jake LaMotta. Okay, they all say he was a raging bull, but he was a very genius fighter, Jake LaMotta. A lot more people give him credit. He rolled with the shots. And the bigger neck you got, the more you can roll with that punch. And also, the better shot you can take. You can absorb it. If you go against a punch, right, that's going to be harder. But if you roll with a punch, you're taking the power out of their punch. That's why you see guys like Floyd Mayweather roll his hands up like that. He's a master art of rolling with the shots. It's an old forgotten art. And all these things I learned, I pass on to my son.
Let's talk a little bit about your son, as you mentioned him very briefly.
Bobby Gunn Jr. is 19 years old right now. He's 5-0 as a pro. Last year he won the WBU Youth Welterweight Championship. My boy's been active for 1 year. He had 10 fights, my brother, fall through in professional boxing in 1 year. 10 fights. One time we drove 2,000 miles back and forth, the guy back there the weigh-in. Unheard of. But hopefully we got him scheduled for in April. I'm going to try to get my boy about 5 to 6 fights this year. And I'm going to take my time and move him along just right. The time my boy's 22, 23-year-old, I believe he'll be fighting for the World Middleweight Championship. Vicious banger, old school fighter, like I told you, rolling shots. He's a student of the game. It's born and bred into him, in his DNA. Like I've said before to you, all dogs are dogs, but there's different breeds of dogs. You've got poodles, chihuahuas, and you've got pit bulls. And my breed of people is like a pit bull. We're bred for fighting. So this boy's been a baby, 6 years old, into the gym with me, fighting up to the amateurs. And he's my protege, and he's a good boy. God's blessed me with a good boy. And I'm not just saying to you, Bobby Gunn Jr. will be a middleweight or super middleweight world champion.
Wow. So we'll have to look out for him. And I'll probably get him on the show and get an interview with him. What do you think?
He's a good man. He'll come on. He'll give you, I don't know if he'll sing like me and give you a tune. He's a little bit more different personality, but he's a good man.
Okay, we'll have to have a word with him. Okay, I've got some people in the room. But last question I'm going to ask you is, of course, about the rumoured fight between yourself and Kimbo Slice. Did you see Kimbo Slice's last fight?
I seen his last fight, and listen, I don't think he maybe trained as hard for it, and maybe the other guy didn't either. The other guy took a cardiac arrest. I heard problems. But the most important thing, the both of them walked away healthy. The other fellow, the 5,000 boy, thank God, he's healing up good. I did hear some after there was results and their tests for the fight. I heard the fight was changed to no contest. But listen, that's for people in the MMA community to work on that. That's not for me. Kimbo Slice was a bare-knuckle fighter. That's where he started it, and that's where he's a legend. He's got a great following there. And for me to fight Kimbo Slice in a professional bare-knuckle boxing event makes all the sense in the world, because it would be a pay-per-view blockbuster. Think about it. You can say what you want to say, but they will be tuned in and they will be watching it. And I believe that fight will happen at the end of this year. I believe me and Kimbo will come to agreement, and I believe it's inevitable it's going to happen, because it's everywhere. Rolling Stone's writing big articles on it right now in Men's Journal, and I believe it's going to happen.
What's the sticking point between yourself and Kimbo Slice at the moment, then? Is he contracted or?
Well, here's what it is. Again, I'm going to be fighting in June.
Yes.
I don't know who I'm fighting yet. I know it won't be Kimbo, because Kimbo's got some things right now he's got to work out. There really isn't no point. I believe once I fight and get things going, I would say my next fight will be with Kimbo Slice. I only want to fight one or two more fights in bare-knuckle boxing, and then I want to be a promotion part of it. You understand? Help the fighters involved. That's all I'm looking at right now. But Kimbo, I'll be honest with you, Kimbo's a gentleman when you talk to him. He's a class act, and his manager, Icy Mike, is a class act.
Okay, I saw there's a Vine that's going around of you doing a bit of a bare-knuckle boxing where you slip and throw a left hook and drop the guy. Somebody asked me, can you show me the whole fight? I said to the guy, that probably is the whole fight. Can you tell me a bit more about that particular fight and who it was?
To be honest with you, none of these films come from me. They're sent to me. They're sent to me and they're put up like that. Literally, that fight was about maybe a minute and a half long. Big, tall, rangy kid, awkward kid, strong kid. He come to fight, and he threw a shot, and I check-hooked him. This caught him right in the point of the chin. Thank God. See, here's the problem real quick, and I want to explain something. And coming from a lot of people in the bare-knuckle boxing community, he fought that guy. That guy's the bum he fought. Oh, excuse me. That guy's no good. Or this guy, Here's the problem. What do you expect me to do? I'm a former champion, fought the best fighters in the world. God forgive me, they're bums. Miscalling me. I would do the same to them that I do to anybody else. I'm not fighting no top echelon, top fighters in the world. These guys, I don't know who they are. I can only fight who they put in front of me. You understand? And if they tell me he's a bare-knuckle fighter, he wants to fight, that's it. I'll fight him and knock him out. That's it. I don't get paid for overtime. If I see the opening, I'll make it.
Right. I've got some people in the room. They've got some questions they'd like to ask you. So we're going to start with, let's see what we've got in the room here. We've got.
You probably got a lot of haters.
No, you've got no hate. You've got people talking some stuff. Okay. Andy Wilkinson. Good evening, Andy. Says, I do have a question to ask. Why doesn't James McQueen McDowell fight Bobby? That would help the sport of BKB in a lot of ways and get a massive attention. Now I don't know who the other gentleman is. So.
James who? James Quinn.
James Quinn McDowell. So I don't know who that is.
Andy, the boxing diva, me and my boy says hello to you. We love you. You do great for the sport of boxing. Your history, your knowledge is wonderful. You keep it going, eh? Again, if the fight come to the table and the money was there, no problem to me. You know what I'm saying? That's how I take the fight. It ain't like I haven't went looking for it before. I tried to get it. It never materialized, but maybe he'll come to the table with something. If the TV comes together and it makes sense, the fight makes sense, then we would do it. Again, you can't fight for peanuts.
So who's the gentleman that you're talking about, so people in the room can get a bit more into who he is?
I believe she's talking about James Quinn McDonough.
Yes.
James Quinn. He's a fighter that made the movie called Knuckle, a bare-knuckle boxer. James Quinn's a good mate of mine. I respect him big time and love him. And like I says, again, I can't see. Now I'm a part of a. Here's the problem I have. I'm a part of an organization now. It's professional, and I can't really talk too much about the underground fighters. Mention their names, you know. But I will answer a question. Like there's a lot of top young underground fighters out there, and people that's related to me that are great fighters, but I just can't mention their names because they're not signed yet on a legal aspect of it.
Yeah,
Because I'm signed. You know what I mean? That's what, but anyway, but Quinn's a good guy. If it ever comes to the table materialize, I think we both signed the contract for it. Yes, it could happen if it was made.
Asghar Tahir, I'm sure you know who that is.
Oh, my man, my brother.
He asked the question to ask you about Roy Jones. What happened with that and him backing out on the fight? Tell us a bit more about that.
Listen, Roy Jones Jr., I was supposed to fight him the first time, and he backed out 10 days before the fight happened. And I got on the phone, and I begged him. I said, what are you doing, pal? What are you doing, Roy? He said, I got a fight in Russia. I said, well, we already had the contract signed. We had the sign. It was all done. We're fighting. And he pulled out. It ripped my heart out because I really believe I would have knocked Roy Jones out. At this time, understand, I couldn't carry Roy Jones' jockstrap when Roy Jones was fighting in his day. Yeah. But the Roy Jones Jr. today, I don't believe will beat Bobby Gunn today. And but anyway, that's that. The second fight, he sent me a contract. This is documented proof. I have the proof for this. Sent me a contract through, and he said, I'm gonna fight you, and then I'm gonna fight Enzo Maccarelli. I said, okay. Then he said, well, wait, I'm gonna fight Maccarelli first, and then I'm gonna fight you. I said, here's the problem you got. You won't beat Enzo Maccarelli. I'm not being mean, my brother. I'm just telling you the truth right now. I says, so for me to waste my time and sit and train for you, I mean, it's a joke. You know, right enough, Enzo knocked him out. I told him not to take that fight. I knew Enzo would knock him out. Enzo's too good, too fast, hits too hard. Long story short, he backed out of that fight on me again. That was supposed to be my fight too, and he never gave it to me. So the ball's in his court. You know what I'm saying? In the street or in the ring, I'd fight Roy Jones anytime. I respect him, but there's too much bullshit going on here now. There comes a time where the buck stops here. Either you're going to fight or stop talking about it.
Wow. I know Roy Jones is now scheduled. There are rumours some said he's going to retire. Others said he's going to be fighting one more fight. What are your thoughts on the whole Roy Jones circus, this part of his career?
Well, you know something. He's a great champion. When he boxes pro fights, you know, you give him credit, but he's doing something about boxing a fan right now, and I didn't like the sound of that. You know, that was kind of a circus thing. I don't like that. Listen, the man is an all-time great, and I can't pass my opinion too much about it. Our things just didn't work out the way they should have, but I do wish him the best in his career.
Okay, I've got here, Bobby Jr. is skilled and would be a lot further if he hadn't the suspension. This is what Andy Wilkinson's saying. He's saying, on BoxRec, it says Bobby Gunn Jr. is a light middleweight. Which is he?
He's a junior middleweight now, but he's not suspension. He was inactive for a year.
Okay, why was he suspended? Just for people in the room to know?
Oh, he was never suspended.
He was never suspended?
No.
Okay, good. That's good. We've cleared that up. Asghar says to ask you about Steve Collins.
Stevie Collins, the Celtic Warrior, the original Celtic Warrior. Great guy, my friend. I think the world of him. His boy's doing real good. And I heard he's a hell of a prospect coming up. And Stevie's a good guy, man. I had a great time for Stevie every time I see him.
Okay. Now, is there anything that I should ask you that I don't know about that you'd like me to ask you about before we close off?
Well, I'd like to give a shout-out to my team. You know, Doug at MMA Fight Fans does all my social media. The man is awesome. His mind is great. You know, I got Dave Philman, Joe Mack, you know, George Kokulani is my attorney who oversees all of our stuff. You know, A. Roth is behind us. And I can't even, there's so many people on my team that I can't thank them enough. It's a professional team. And I want to give a thank you to Scott Burt from the Bare-knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame for being the true historian, for telling us this is not right, that's not right, they're not a bare-knuckle fighter, that's a real bare-knuckle fighter. The man's mind is genius. and he's in the end, the torch was passed on to him from the all-time legend Burt Randolph Sugar. So if you're getting that passed on you from him, it stands for something. And I just want to thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ for my blessings, you know, my beautiful wee wife and my wee girl Charlene, because without my family, I would have nothing.
That's fantastic. It really is. For you can give credit to all these people, Bobby. I don't know if there's anything else for you to ask you at this minute in time. Would you fight Steve Collins? Because Steve Collins was chasing a fight of Roy Jones Jr. Would you potentially fight Steve Collins?
Yes, I would. I absolutely. Me and Steve Collins would make a great fight. You know, it'd have to be a catch weight probably, because Steve is not really a 200-pound guy.
Right.
So most likely they would ask me to kill myself and diet myself down to make it down in the 190s. I guess I could, had the right training camp. If the money made sense and the fight made sense, me and Steve would put a hell of a Celtic Warrior fight on.
Did you fight James Toney by any chance, or was my imagination?
Yes, I did. I fought James Toney, and I lost that fight going in the 5th round. I broke my hand, and he's an all-time great man. He had the head rolls, and he was something else. James, he's a good guy, James.
How would James do in BKB?
Be a great fighter. Probably beat anybody out there. He's all-time great.
Really? Wow.
Maybe a rematch at Bare-knuckle, right? You're promoting, brother. You're good.
Is there any chance that you'll come to Ireland at all, Bobby? Because I know a lot of people want to know
there last year. I was over last year a few times to visit. I got some great pals over there in Ireland, and I would come back. You know, we're talking to a couple of major people involved in politics in Ireland about bringing bare-knuckle boxing legally. And I already got the in with them, and I got great contact right now with the BBC, the British Boxing Works, so we're going to be talking to them soon. Again, we're not looking to host shows, you know, amateurs, you know what I'm saying? You put little shows on, and our shows, again, when you come to see us fight, the boys will be fighting bare-knuckle. The fist is wide open.
Right.
And that's the ideal. But also, everybody out there, let them know about my website, www.bobbygunn.com. BobbyGunn.com. Please, you want to find out news coming up, or you reach my team on there, that's how you get in touch with me.
I've got one person asking, he's asking Shelby Gross fight ask. So,
wow.
Shelby, I don't know what
Great fight.
No.
Great fight. Fought him for the IBA Cruiserweight title and the world title. The first fight was a controversial. It was a no contest. It was long counts. One of the hardest punches I ever seen. Teddy Atlas quoted that fight was the most controversial fight in modern day history. The WBC put that fight, they show that fight, how to train their referees, how not to referee a fight. No offense against the referee, but the fighter, the referee Freddie Brooks, that fight was hindrance for that fight. And then I fought him again, the rematch for the WBC United States title, and I won that fight. Big time puncher. Hell of a guy, Shelby Gross. Love him. Give my heart off. Take my heart to him. Hell of a fighter.
Okay, and let's just give a bit shout out to Team Fury, because I know you're very close to Team Fury. Peter Fury and Hugh Fury.
I love Peter Fury and my boy. I was on the phone to Big John Fury today. What a crack we had the phone for 1 hour. I love him.
Good. Great stuff. So, Bobby Gunn, thank you so much for talking to Baylorite TV and doing this live. I think we should do this more often. I think the fans really enjoyed you being on the show.
I just want to say before I go, Peter Fury is a genius in boxing training techniques. He takes the calisthenics that's forgotten about. He adds that to his boxing regime when he trains these fighters. And that's why them boys, Tyson wasn't even breathing after 12 rounds. That's why Huey and these kids, their condition is unbelievable. And I wanted to say Peter, right now, in my opinion, is one of the top boxing trainers in the world. And if he wants Bobby Jr., take him over. You can take his bills. You can have him.
I said it's a crying shame that he didn't get the Ring Magazine Trainer of the Year. Real crying shame. It must have been a political thing, because I can't see why he didn't become Trainer of the Year. He took Tyson Fury and took him to the heavyweight championship of the world and beat the undisputed champion. I still can't understand why Peter Fury didn't win the Ring Trainer of the Year. And then when you find out who did win the Ring Trainer of the Year, it kind of looks pretty political. But that's just me speaking there.
I believe you're right. You know, listen to me. I was just thankful to God that Tyson was on the cover and won it, because I didn't think they were going to give it to him. I'm so happy they did, because he deserved it. To tell you the truth, Peter's there. That's the bottom line. The man forgot more about boxing than people dream about, and he's there. I love him. He's my pal, and he's a genius when it comes to art of boxing. He has a battle plan. See, that makes a trainer. Anybody can train how to throw a 1-2, but it's having a battle plan. And Peter Fury could take a fighter in that's a finished product, and he will polish that fighter off. Very few trainers can do that. It's like, look at the great work he done with Eddie Chambers, my pal. I love Eddie Chambers. Yes. Eddie looked fabulous, getting stronger and built. I wish Eddie was over with him right now. Again, he's a trainer, and these boys are going to run from another 5 to 10 years. Mark my words. When Tyson's done, before Tyson's done, when he want to retire after 2 or 3 fights, Huey will take it over, young Huey, and he'll be the world champion for as long as he wants. And they got a young boy coming up too, Tommy Fury.
Yes.
Wow.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Wow. Shout out to built that boy has. I'm jealous, man. I feel like an old fat fool. I wish I had these guys as built.
Maybe you should get Peter Fury to train you for one of your big fights.
Listen, man. I wouldn't mind doing it. Honest to God.
Well, you'll have to get a word in there. You'll have to get a word and get yourself over.
But listen, before I go, I'd like to say this too. Maybe Kimbo Slice is watching tonight on the interview. Or you're gonna Kimbo, me and you, my pal, makes the fight the whole world want to see. And I think the world of you. And I want to tell you, Kimbo, good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Good night, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. Bobby Gunn, I'm coming for you. I'm knocking at the door. It's a BKB super fight the world wants to see. Come on, Kimbo, man. Let's get it on, my buddy.
Bobby Gunn, once again, thank you so much for talking to Bayloric TV.
God bless you, my pal. Ingham, I love you, my pal. Give my love to all the family.
Thank you. All the best. Take care, champ.
Thanks, my buddy.
Well, there you have it, people. Bobby Gunn. They're talking to Bayloric TV. Don't forget now, we're going to be switching right over into our live boxing show. The link will be up in a minute. Live boxing show from 9:15 right through to 11:30 tonight. So stay with us. We'll be switching links from this Bobby Gunn link to the live boxing show, where we'll have Jack Sunderland in the room. We may have even Asgar in the room as well. Jack Sunderland is a boxer, a personal trainer. He'll be talking about boxing fitness, training, diet. We'll even look at your body structures and what you need to be doing as a boxer and diet. So stay tuned and be over at the World of Bayloric TV Boxing Channel live chat. We'll be with you in 10 minutes. We just overrun 10 minutes. We'll be doing Bayloric TV Boxing Channel live. Thanks for watching. See you soon.